been reminiscing with my trusty Zenit EM first camera, well, first SLR camera that I ever had. It was actually bought for me as a present in 1980. One of my girlfriends of the time. She knew that I'd studied photography in school, and I always used to go on about it. And for a birthday present, she bought me a camera. And the rest is history, I guess, as they say. Great little thing. Weighs a ton. Well, not by today's standards, but it's all metal. Takes film, of course. You load it, you put the film in, pull it across, wind it on. Look through the viewfinder, split prism inside. Beautiful. Hear the sound of that? That reassuring thud as the shutter flies and the mirror flaps. No electronics. I was showing this to my daughter and she was like, "Where's the screen on the back?" And I said, there's no screen. You know what we did? We took the picture, composed it, focused it, took the picture, and then moved on, wound it on, moved on to the next picture. And then when the film number of frames, usually 12 or 24, was complete, we'd press another button, wind it all back onto the spool, and send it to the chemist to get our photos. You know, and we never knew how good our pictures were, or even if they would, you know, the right exposure, until they came back maybe a week or so later. So photography was a complete different ball game back then. You know, it was expensive, and it was a complete different ball game. It could take you a long time to learn from your mistakes, particularly as, you know, I could have a roll of film inside this camera for maybe 2 weeks before I sent it off, you know, and then when I sent it off, I may not pick up the film again for another week or so. So 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I was actually reviewing the pictures that I took to find out what I needed to improve on, or what worked or what didn't work. So progress back then was very slow and expensive. Nowadays you can just shoot and look on the back of your camera. Oh, I don't like that one. Delete. Try again. So, you know, it's a whole different ball game nowadays. But I think because it was harder back then, only people who were really, really wanted to get into photography would walk in that direction. You know, you wouldn't step in this direction to do all this, to go through that process, if you weren't really into it. So I think it kind of weeded out these casual photographers that we have nowadays in abundance with your iPhones, or even some with DSLRs as well. But yeah, great little camera. Russian, 50mm, 58mm lens. Built like a tank. No battery. Works like a dream. This is where I started, and I know many people started with these. Zenit EM. No frills SLR of the 80s. Yeah. Screw mount lens. Look at that. Where do you see a screw mount lens? Screw mount, you know. Like one of those light bulbs. Still clean inside. Look at that. F2 50mm. You know how much you pay for an F2 50mm nowadays? Oh my God. you're paying about 500, 600 pounds. F2, 50mm lens. This one, you can get this now, pick up the whole camera and lens for maybe 50 quid. If that. Good old days. Keep telling myself I'm gonna put some film in here and give it a go. Bring it to an event and actually shoot an event. But then I chicken out. This is nostalgia. This is for the hipsters nowadays. This is what they go for, the hipsters. You'll see them with these, well maybe not these, but some film camera, Nikon or Canon, 1980s film camera. Leica, that's the one they go for, isn't it? Leica. But no man, this was a pretty good camera. I did a wedding a few years back, and there was the wedding photographer was actually shooting on film. And that was quite interesting to see a wedding photographer in the 21st century using the film camera. And there was a point where we were doing the bride and groom at the park. You know, they go to the park and all the flowers and they're taking those nice pictures. And there was a point where the film finished and the camera began to rewind. And everybody had to wait as this thing went and rewound itself. I'd forgotten about that. Wow, you know, technology. As my mum would say, man, greaty. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Nailed him.